All right, happy Monday. Going to talk about the worksheet. This is the video lecture for the worksheet that you will have in class today. This is pretty easy. Again, it's just review again of some more trig functions. And then when you get over to 15 to 24, we really need to kind of pay attention to that. No calculators needed for this. You just need to pay attention. Questions 1 through 10 on the front. I'm going to talk about question number 1, which you get this triangle right here. You have x, y, z, and you have 36, you have 39, and 15. You need to, and I'm sorry, I should have wrote that bigger. You need to make sure you label all the sides. All right? This is probably the last time, if you actually label them, I will force you to do this. If you guys don't do it, I'll have you keep labeling everything. Label the sides, legs and hypotenuse. What are my legs? What are my hypotenuse? And you can do this, because I know they're kind of small, you can do this right on the outside. Leg, leg, hypotenuse. There. I labeled my sides, leg, leg, hypotenuse. It's asking for the cosine of x. So I don't need to create all the ratios for this particular problem. I just need to create the one they're asking for. What is the cosine of x? Well, cosine, again, refer back to your trig ratios if you need to, 6.9. Question number 1, cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse. So if x is my starting point, what is the leg adjacent? 36. What is the hypotenuse? 39. You will not see that as an answer on a test. Why? Because these are both divisible by 3. So I'm going to divide everything by 3. And what is the cosine of x? I don't even need to put that there. I can put or, because I'm simplifying my ratio. 3 goes into 3 once, 3 goes into 6 twice, 3 goes into 3 once, 3 goes into 9 3 times. There's my answer. I circled my answer. All right, so there's number 1. Do that with all of 1 through 10. All right, exactly what I did. Just label, right, and create your ratio. So there's all of 1 through 10. Actually, I take that back, 1 through 14. All right, so it gives you 14. It really shouldn't take that long. That one took us, what, maybe, I don't know, 20 seconds, 30 seconds to actually do, including all the labeling and everything. Question number 15, and I'm probably going to do a couple of these just because this is something new and I want to see how we do this. All right, it gives me the triangle. It tells me the side lengths are 19 and 37. Okay, that's all it gives me. And it says, create the trig ratio that you will need in order to find the value of the desired angle. Okay, so let's create that. Well, what did they give me? I don't have A, B, C, I don't have anything labeled, but this is the angle that they're looking for. I'm looking for an unknown, so I'm going to call that unknown x. The other thing you need to do is label your sides, right? So I'm going to label my sides. G, hypotenuse, leg, leg. There's my sides of my triangle. What am I given? Well, I'm not given a hypotenuse. So, ka, toa. So, which trig ratios can I not use? I can't use any of the ones that include hypotenuse. So the only ratio I can choose, and this is where you have to think, is the tangent ratio. So it's going to be the tangent of x is equivalent to what? The tangent of x. Again, x is not the angle. X is what I'm looking for. That's the value, the measure of the angle. Right? The tangent of this angle here is equal to opposite over adjacent. 37 over 19. X is my unknown. I need to solve for this. So here's the thing for today. Okay? This is what you need, and I'll do one more. I know it's a lot, but I'll do one more. In order to get x by itself, okay, I have to do the opposite of what's here. Because I'm using a trig ratio, I have to undo that trig ratio to get x by itself. How do I do that? Well, it's a lot like this. 3x plus 5 equals, let's say, 29. Okay? I have to undo what's here in order to get x by itself, right? I have to subtract 5. So subtracting 5 gives me 3x equals 24. And I have to undo the multiplication to get x by itself, I have to undo something. I have to undo this trig ratio. So how do I undo a trig ratio? I undo a trig ratio by multiplying by tan minus 1, which is an inverse. Okay? Tan minus 1 is inverse trig. So tan minus 1, cosine minus 1, or sine minus 1 is inverse trig. If I multiply the left side by tan minus 1, I have to multiply the right side by tan minus 1. And what happens here? These cancel each other out. I'm left with x, and this is all I want you to do. I want you to write the inverse of tangent by 37 divided by 19, and that's it. You're done. Get the variable by itself. That's all. That's all you have to do. You don't need to solve for the angle. So let's pick another one. Let me just pick 17. All right? So this is, again, this is going to be easy because 17 is a different one. So here's, in fact, you know what? I'll use the board space over here. I'll move the camera in a second. Okay? So here's my question mark angle. And I'm trying to hurry because I want to make the video as short as possible. There's 19. Make that visible. 15, 19, right angle. All right, so what do they give me? Well, you need to identify, move this over here now, identify your sides. Okay, so I'm going to identify those sides. Well, gee, this is a leg, make that a little bit visible. This is a leg, and this is the hypotenuse, right? So what am I given? You have to stop and ask yourself, what am I given? Well, I'm given a leg and the hypotenuse. If I go back to my SOHCAHTOA, if I'm given both legs, I'm going to use tangent. Well, I don't know both legs, so that eliminates that one. I'm either going to use sine or cosine. Well, here's my reference angle. This is where I want to start from. Do they give me the leg opposite, or do they give me the leg adjacent? They give me the leg adjacent, so it's a cosine of an angle. So cosine x, you could make it a, b, c, x, y, z. I don't care what you make it. This is your variable. The cosine of, now create your ratio. Adjacent, 15, over a hypotenuse, which is 19. And now we have to get x by itself. So how do I get x by itself? I show that I multiply by cosine inverse, and whatever I do to one side of an equation, I have to do the same thing to the other. That's why we did that in the previous problem. These two cancel out, and x is equal to the cosine inverse, is how we say that, of 15 divided by 19. Done. Here's my answer. Right there. All right? So try the others. Even if you get stuck with this process, you should label all the legs of 15 to 24, and you should at least attempt to be able to create, you should at least be able to create the ratios. At least get the red right here. That's a win. I want you to try and multiply. Think about it. Get x by itself. It's multiplying by the inverse. I know we haven't talked about it, but see how you do.